Hi, I'm Danny, and these are my Diecast Disasters. Here we have a little Matchbox RS200, and this was very kindly sent to me by Ken in America. I've done a few of his cars recently, so thanks again, Ken. These were produced by Matchbox from 87 until 2000, and this little blue one was, I think, 89, 1990 version. This example is all there. It's just looking in a jolly mess, really. Needs a good tidy up. No cracks in the windscreen or anything. It's got a metal base on it, even though they've painted it black there. Quite a nice solid little model, and the real life RS200 is a pretty cool Group B rally car. It's 4-wheel drive, something around 400 horsepower. A little beast of a car. So there was one post to drill out, and then the bottom comes off. It's a tab at the back. There's the interior. It's a nice detailed one. And then there's the springy piece of metal for suspension. I'll just pop these old wheels and axles out. Be replacing those later. And finally, the windscreen and the body casting. I used some paint stripper to strip the paint off of those castings. There they go, and then I give them a further clean up with a wire brush on my Dremel and get rid of that oxidation and old scraps of paint, bit of sort of rust on that metal plate. And here they are after stripping and burnishing, looking nice and shiny and clean. Next we'll take a closer look at that body casting, and we'll be able to see where there's some casting lines and stuff. Some little notches in the sides here too. A bit scruffy around the windows. And more casting lines at the rear there. And at the front here, coming down from the windscreen. Yeah, anyway, a few scruffy areas, so I'll use my needle file here to tidy those up. Try and be careful not to file away any actual proper details when you're doing this sort of stuff. I moved on to some sandpaper. So here it is once I've finished tidying it up. It's not perfect, I mean it was never going to be, but I think I've got rid of the worst of the casting lines and other things. Still those little notches in the sides there. They're like from the modelling of it or something, I think. But I'm not going to worry about those, I don't think you'll see them. And I'm also going to drill and tap this post here so that I can use a little button head screw to hold it all together once I've finished. So I used a 1.7mm drill to drill the hole, and this is a 256 tap. Once all that was done, I could move on to painting. So I start out with a couple of coats of nice clean white. Here are some scans I took of the car before I stripped it, and I can use those to make myself a new set of decals. And here I've printed those out on some decal paper, and I'll apply them to the car. I'll put this decal set up on my Patreon. It can be quite fiddly getting the really small decals off of the cardboard. Okay, so here it is after I've applied the decals. I used a little bit of microsol on the sides there to help it adhere to the shape of the side of the car and the panel lines, etc. Next I've used some paint to detail the front and rear end and the lights and stuff. And to finish it off, I've printed out some RS200 license plates here, and I'll cut one out and use some PVA glue to glue it on the front there. There was a surface relief one in the casting, but I don't think I could have painted that to look very good, really. Now we can move on to the interior. It's a nice detailed interior, I think. It's got an engine in the back there. Nice properly shaped steering wheel. I added a handbrake, and then I painted the whole thing a base coat of black, and I detailed the seats in red and the engine there in some silver, and then I used some black decal paper strips and some little bits of styrene to make some harnesses. Here's the base. I've just given that a nice fresh coat of satiny black. And now we can move on to the scruffy looking window. As I mentioned before, there's no cracks in it. It's just really scuffed on the outside. It's a little bit yellowed, but I'm not going to worry about that. So here I've got some 1200 grit sandpaper, and I've sanded down all the windows enough to get rid of 90% of the scuffing and stuff. And here I'm using some plastic polish to give it a good polish. And here it is once I'm finished. I think that's looking a lot better. Nice and shiny now. And finally, here are the replacement wheels I'm going to put on it. They're Dunlops. You might have noticed that I actually switched the Pirelli decals on the front for Dunlop ones. And here are all our parts after refurbishment and ready to go back together. So I've put the new wheels on there. Then I just need to pop the windscreen in and the interior. There's like a little tab there, but it's not like riveted in. Just holds it in the right place. So there's the interior and the base, and then I can hold it all together with a little 256 button head screw. So before we take a look at the finished car, let's quickly take a look back at what we started with. Here's our little Ford RS200 rally car. It's been getting knocked around since the late 80s. So let's give it a jolly good tidy up and see if we can give it a new lease of life. And here it is, our finished, restored and customized Matchbox Ford RS200. It's pretty much the same paint scheme, it's just reversed. White and blue instead of blue and white. So a nice clean new paint job. It's had the interior customized there and detailed. Handbrake added. Nice new set of Dunlops on it. And the windscreen's been given a jolly good clean up. You can see through it now to that detailed interior. So I think it's looking pretty cool. It's a pretty cool little car. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thanks heaps again to Ken for sending over the car. Sent some really cool cars, they've been fun to work on. Thanks heaps to my Patreons for the continued support. Thanks heaps to you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. There's some links down below to check out. Like and subscribe and stuff to see similar content, and I'll catch you in the next one.